Hi everyone. So this is Archana Padmini. I'm a film curator and I'm part of Women in Cinema Collective. So I'd like to thank Bangalore International Short Film Festival for getting us this opportunity to just be here and talk about our films and women in cinema in general. So we have our filmmakers here. So I'd like to start with Shruti. So
Hi,
hi, Shruti. So your film Manu Malayalam is being screened in the festival. So
not Manu Malayalam, Manu Master.
Manu Master, yes,
Yeah,
Manu
yeah,
Master is being screened in the festival. So it's about Manu
yeah,
Master, right?
yeah.
So
It's
you
about Manu
have been
Master.
constantly working on different art forms, mostly classical art forms. You were obsessed with somehow uh, these art forms. I would like to know. I mean, I'm quite curious to know why is that.
See, first of all, it's not a deliberate choice. Like, I'm not deliberately choosing art forms and artists. It's true that I'm infected by art because I'm being an artist myself. I can identify pretty much with artists and their sensibilities. That could be one of the reasons. Yeah, obviously, art is one, way of survival. It's a survival mechanism for all of us, and it's a refuge. And of course, it gives you a lot of freedom. But working with artists doesn't really give you that much of freedom because they all have their own perceptions about themselves and they have their egos, and definitely about their art forms, they have their own, views. Okay. They have their own school of thoughts and things like that. So, working with artists is a different thing altogether. But it's not a deliberate choice. It just happens. And yeah, I think I can identify much more with artists and art forms, being an artist myself. So, it just happens. That's it.
So, how was this experience with Manu Master? I mean, how did you arrive at that uh, documentary, so to say?
Uh, yeah, Manu Master, actually one of my friends, she's a famous Kuchipudi dancer. Her name is Sri Lakshmi Govardhan. You might have heard of her. So I happened to hear about Manu Master from her, as in I happened to know about Manu Master from her Facebook page. I saw a picture of Manu Master, his dancing posters, and it had a vibe. I mean, it had an aura to it. So I was curious to know who this person was, and I approached him directly. I mean, I collected his contact, and I approached him directly, and that's when I got to know about him and his dance, his sensibilities, and the way he perceives dance and things like that. And as a first attempt, as a starting point, to work on a documentary, I did a small production called Manu Malayalam, and of course, our colleague Uma is the one who did camera for that. Okay, it's a small piece. Okay, it's a musical piece. And my colleague Sudeep Palnad did music for that, and his sister Deepa Palnad sang that particular piece of song written by me, and Manu Master danced for it. Okay, that was the starting point. Okay, and I wanted to do a documentary because he was worth it, worthy of it. Like, um, he had, you know, uh, those sensibilities that I was looking for, within an artist. So I wanted to work on a documentary on him. So Manu Malayalam was the starting point, and watching Manu Malayalam, my guru Bharat Bala, he approached me and he asked me if he could produce this particular documentary that I would like to work with Manu Master. Uh, so that's how Manu Master happened. And I had the technical support from, Bharat Bala Productions. And that is one advantage of working with a huge production house like, Bharat Bala Productions, because, like the technical support comes in handy, and you can work with quality cameras and, big production crew. That's not possible if we are working with a small production house. Okay. So that happened, and I think the quality of the work, that shows the equipments that we've used, and the ecosystem, the support system that we had, technical support we had, that shows in the documentary. So that's about it.
So I think I'll get back to you, Shruti. For
Sure.
that, I'd like
Okay.
to uh, ask Uma.
Okay.
Uma Kumarapuram, she's a cinematographer working in Malayalam film industry mostly, and she has also directed a film called Across the Ocean, and she's also a member of Women in Cinema Collective. So my question to actually Uma is about Across the Ocean. It's feature film, and it's been actually co-directed by uh, another person. It was a co-production, I believe.
Yeah.
So I would really like to know, I mean, what was that experience? And it was multilingual. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, please let us know.
Okay. I'll give you the details myself. First and foremost, my Uma Kumarapuram is my name. Just wanted to clarify that. Yeah, Across the Ocean was co-written, co-directed, and co-produced by me and Nicole Donadio, a US-based filmmaker. So we met on Facebook actually. Hello. Can you hear me? Cannot hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. So we met on Facebook and we hit it off as friends when we talked about our filmmaking careers and our interests and the traveling interest and everything. So we decided to make a movie on short film actually when we first discussed it, short film on two women wanting to travel, and then we kind of kept discussing and writing, and it went huge into a feature film. That's what happened with Across the Ocean. So we both were first-time filmmakers at that time. I was cinematographer. I have been assisting in the industry for the past 10 years, but my direction, I hadn't directed till anything till then. So it was my debut direction. It was the same for Nicole also. So when we approached many people, they all thought this was a very crazy idea. So yeah, we just went ahead and we crowdfunded and co-produced it. That's what happened with Agro Social. So that's in a nutshell. It's,
Yeah. So, Uma, cinematographers who are also women are very, few, and I think even in Indian film industry. And
yeah,
we, as film students, have always been conscious of the gaze which uh, camera is actually, presenting. Um, so, I mean, there are discussions regarding being sensitive through gaze, the female gaze, and all those things. And we have even crossed all those discussions, and we are in 2020. And yet, we don't have enough number of cinematographers in our gender. So, what do you think the reason is? I mean, would like to know your experience.
it's a huge question actually. Why there is very few women cinematographers? We do have an Indian women cinematographers collective. Did you know that? We have a collective. It's a cinematographers, with female cinematographers collective from all over India. We are close to 100 right now, and it's a very interesting, very supportive collection of very energetic, um, very spirited ladies as well. So yeah, but still, all over India, close to 100 is a very less of a number. I think it's the same thing that cinematography is considered as a kind of heavy lifting department. It's a technical department. It needs physical work and stuff like that. So women are more fragile. They can't do that kind of heavy work. maybe that's the notion why people are still considering men for the camera work. And when you hear a female cinematographer, you suddenly feel, oh, that emotion. Maybe that's why. I think the discussions are still going on.
Cool. Sudha, you there? No. So
I think
I'll
she's
again,
breaking.
yeah, I'll again come to Shruti. So you've been talking about working with Bharat Bala Productions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But at the
yeah,
same time, you are mostly an independent filmmaker who are
yeah,
consistently making some kind of content you know, uh, and it's very motivating for all of us to actually watch that's happening. So
yeah.
um, my question is, what is it basically? How do you survive as an independent filmmaker, and what do you sell your content? What's happening to that?
It's not that I survive as an independent filmmaker. It's not. It should be put in another way. uh, I'm doing filmmaking for the survival, as in I have to survive, and for that I make films. And I have this constant urge for getting out and meeting people, and doing things on my own. It's been there since long, okay, I think since my childhood. So that's one of the motivations why I chose this path, the path of filmmaking. And another thing is, I have to constantly interact with this medium. Okay. And it's all about your experience and interactions, constant interactions that are happening, because this is a technical field, no matter what. Like Uma puts it. The technology has been changing. Your watching platforms have been changing. The camera you've been using, that has been changing. Everything is changing. Okay, so constantly you have to interact with this medium. Then only you will be able to survive in this particular field. If you are talking about the survival as a filmmaker. Okay. Another thing is, I'm one person who gets depressed and who gets, you know, tired if I don't do anything at all. So this is sort of a refuge for me, and this is sort of a survival mechanism for me. To find ideas and to execute it and to make it into a film form. So I keep doing that, and yeah, somehow that happens. And I think ideas come to me just like that. I don't know. It just happens. Yeah. And I'm glad to
That
hear that it's an inspiration for people like you. As in, I respect you all, especially Uma, because she's been doing a lot. Like she said, women have been considered fragile, when it comes to technical fields like cinematography, which is not true at all. Women can handle anything, literally anything. So, even direction for that matter. Like, I work with 90% of men. Okay. All my assistants, all people who are working with me, they're all men. Um, there are hardly any women assistants, that I have in my team. So when you work with men, the opposite gender, you really get it. You really understand, their way of thinking and their perceptions about women, especially, leading women. Okay, so that's different. Okay, when men work with men, and when women work with men, you know that respect and the kind of recognition that comes in handy. But when men work with women leaders, and when women work with women leaders, that respect sometimes lacks. It's in lacking. So I can see that. I've experienced it myself. And um, that's one stigma that I would like to breach, that women can do anything, literally anything. And, unless you keep doing it, uh, you cannot prove that point. That's it.
Yeah. So over to
Okay.
Uma. I think Sudha is trying to connect again. So um, Of course, we are all part of one platform called Women in Cinema Collective. So, and Uma is very active right now, working in our daily working team and everything. So, um, we all have our own reasons to be connected to that platform. We have our own reasons to stay there and work there. I would like to know, I mean, how do you feel to be in a collective?
It's a safe space. I feel safe. I feel sisterhood. I feel being in a group of like-minded people, like-feeling people, like that. To be honest, I've always been, I have always tried to be a part of groups or collectives which are which want to bring about a good social change in the industries or in the places that I'm working with. So even in film, I'm a part of WCC, as you said. I'm also a part of FCA trade union for cinematographers. I'm also a part of Indian Women Cinematographers Collective. So these are all places that I see as collectives that can bring good social change. So being in WCC, that's my sister's group. I mean, we can discuss what to be done when we are going forward in the future about how to bring that change. Like how Shruti said, there is a difference between how men and women see each other. So these are WCC and similar spaces are the spaces which I see there could be a very healthy and very fruitful discussion can happen and can also implement on the strategies that can break that mold and bring get the workplace into a gender neutral kind of workplace, where there is no gender, it's your talent and your character. That's only it matters, like that. So yes, that's how I see WCC and similar workplaces.
So, like, I would like to know, as a cinematographer, while working, like, while placing your frame, uh, is there a difference when you are a woman? If so, what is that? And uh, how can a cinematographer engage with the medium in general? Where is that contribution, and how far um, is that possible when you work with um, people from different genders? Have you tried to engage with them? Have you tried to somehow maybe considering our industry, have you tried to sensitize, or is there a space for dialogue in our industry, and how does that work in the workplace as a cinematographer?
Wow, you asked a lot of questions. Okay. Let's see. First, about the female gaze. That's a discussion again, which started from long back. How a male cinematographer and a female cinematographer see differently through the frame. Technically, there is no difference because camera is just a tool. Okay, but when you see from a cinematographer is the eye of the director. So when the director wants to tell a story, the cinematographer can make subtle changes into the emotion, into the tone by the placing of frames and using colors and lights, like that. So if you want to place your subject as an enticing subject, or if you want to place a subject as a raw, gritty, subject, or if you want to evoke a sadness for the subject, that you can actually do with your frames. So that discussion the cinematographer can have with the director, and if it's a um, two gender collaboration, because if the subject is a woman, the female director or the female cinematographer can maybe understand a little better, unless the male cinematographer or director is also that much sensitive to a subject. So that's how such a discussion can be fruitfully happen if the cinematographer is a female. You know, the director's eye can help him or her see a different perspective about the subject in front of them. So till then we have yeah, sorry, Archana, go on.
Yeah, yeah, tell me, yes.
Okay, till now we had a lot of male perspective stories. We still now we have predominantly male stories. So whenever there is a female story coming in, it's imperative that somebody should understand what that female story or the female protagonist is meaning or is going through or when telling the story, right? Instead of seeing it from an outsider's perspective and, you know, instead of going into that protagonist character, but showing her as a masala subject or enticing kind of uh, thing, prop, like that. So that's where this female technicians need comes in. That's what I feel.
So right now we are missing three other people in our discussion. One is Leela
Yeah.
Yeah.
Santosh, who has directed Paikinchana Chiri, and Sajida Madathil, the director of Everyday Kya. They have two. And then
Okay.
Sudha Padmaja Francis, the director of Memory Beings, Orma Jeevigal. So um, um, since they are not here, I thought it would be nice to reflect on their films too.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You can encapsulate like how and what they've done through their films too.
Absolutely.
That would be great. Yeah.
So talking about Leela, Leela's I think she's the first ever women filmmaker from the tribal community called Pania. So she's from Wayanad, and she has just announced a greater film called Karindandan, and uh, I think people have seen the film. It's very political and it's rooted in the community, and it's not even in Malayalam. It's in the language of Panya. So, and there is Sajida Madathil's film, which actually is a kind of direct response to Shabarimala issue we had, the chaos uh, which happened in Kerala for entering into a temple in 2000. I think it's 2020, and we were still talking and discussing and struggling to find a reason to enter women into a particular temple. So and in Sudha's film, she's trying to weave the memories into her frames, memories, songs of an old age, maybe a community. So there are different kinds of there are different kinds of attempts to actually you know create images. Women are trying differently to create images. Certain expressions are very direct, certain expressions are very subtle, sometimes it's somewhere else. So my question is to Shruti right now,
Okay.
because we have this canon of master filmmakers, and we
Okay.
have been constantly watching, uh, you know, lot of
Satyajit,
films
yeah. All
directed
those.
by men, and we're
Yeah.
trying to break these stereotypes and trying to think out a new language, new narrative, and
Okay.
so how does that? I mean, what happens inside a filmmaker when you try to do that?
It's a tough question, in fact, what happens inside of a maker. But it's all about perspective, like Uma said. Uh, as in, you know, even a female filmmaker can have a male protagonist. Okay. Even a female filmmaker can work on a male point of view. But when a female filmmaker narrates the story of a male or narrates a male protagonist, it'll be different from how a male, filmmaker narrates the story. You know, there will be definitely a difference, because definitely it will be more sensitive. And when you address issues, women related issues, when you involve a female character, and the approach of the male character towards the female character, and the dialogues that this particular protagonist presents in front of the female character, and how he treats her, everything will be different. Okay. As in, when you go through the process of writing or narrating the story to yourself, like before making it really, okay, before you make it happen, this question of your sensibilities versus the sensibilities of the audience, that comes into your head. Okay, that is the first thing that comes into your head. Like, society in general thinks in the way of a, in male perspective. I would put it that way. Okay, that's how society thinks. I mean, that's how we have taught the society to think. Okay, but we've had great, filmmakers like Satyajit Ray, who have presented great female characters, and Bergman, Ingmar Bergman, and we've had many such great directors who have presented great female protagonists. Okay, but still the society is taught to think in a male perspective. So this is the first thing that hits your mind when you start thinking about a script. Okay, when you start narrating the story to yourself, this is the first thing that strikes your mind, how you're going to satisfy the audience. Okay, how you are going to get into the psyche of the audience when you write a script in a female perspective, when you present a male character, even if it's a male character, it's a male protagonist, how you are going to present him in a sensitive way. Okay, without breaching your politics, and without breaching your political stance, or whatever. So that's the first thing that going into my head when I'm working on a
Okay.
character. Yeah.
So I'd like to take something from there.
Okay.
There is this thing called market, and
Okay.
so
Yeah.
the question is to Uma, taking it from Shruti's point. Um,
Okay.
so there is this market uh, which is actually placed in front of you when you make a content. And I've been interacting with a lot of filmmakers, and they all were somehow disappointed that maybe market needs are forcing
Yeah.
them to do something. It's forcing them to compromise on their own content. So, Uma's, I would like to know Uma's take. And do you still think there is a space for us to actually work within the mainstream platform and, do our own content without any compromise? Yes.
Definitely there is. Definitely there is. I don't think the market is always very market needs always the stupid or the very or totally massy or that kind of stuff. The market means the whole people, the whole population who are looking for entertainment. So so it's a give and take process. That's what I feel. Like if you make them good movies, and in a way the people start to respond to you. So at first there will be some pushback if for a long time you have given them only the mass brainless entertainment, and then you start to give them some classy stuff, or let's say more brainier okay brainier stuff. There will be a little bit of pushback. But see, right now the thing is that our market or our population or our viewers are open to the worldwide entertainment content. Okay, they're saying they're watching content from all over the world. They are most of them have good reading habits also, so they know what a good story is. Sometimes there will be pushback, but there is the filmmakers or the producers talent or creativity to find how to get into that, how to get their stories to the needed audience, the target audience. So
So
I would
you're
never say
trying
that,
to
yeah.
say that, I would like to interrupt. You're trying to say the market itself has evolved in a different sense, so that we can actually engage there, right?
Yes, yes, market always evolves. The
Okay.
population always
Okay.
evolves and they're ready for the whatever entertainment we are giving them. So it's a give and take process.
Yes.
I would like to interrupt that point of Uma a little
Yeah.
bit. The thing is, I have always felt that it's all about finding a balance. Okay. This evolution process is slow. It is still
Yeah.
slow. People
Mhm.
are getting there slowly.
Yeah.
So, how you can give the content slowly,
Mhm.
by maintaining the balance. Okay.
Mm.
On one side, you have to satisfy their, stereotypical needs. Okay. And on the other side, at the same time, you have to give new ideas and contents and your politics, your point of views, and your stance, and your way of watching a film or making your content. Okay, so the process should be slow, and this evolution, yeah, of course, the evolution will happen. It has been happening. People are not conscious about it, but still, it is happening. But then it should be given slowly,
Yeah.
slow dose
Yeah.
of changes. That's what I
Yeah.
feel. Keeping the
Correct.
So
balance.
we are
Correct.
still waiting.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah,
Are
correct.
we still
What
waiting?
Shruti said is, yeah, what Shruti said is really right, because why is that? Because population is so big. For
Yeah.
every such a huge mass of people or particles or whatever, for them to move, it takes a lot of time. If you want to
Yeah.
talk to two people, it's easy to convince them, but if you want to talk to 10
That's
people,
true.
then it takes time. So that's
Yeah.
what. So when you are talking about population like people of Kerala or people of North India, or all over India or all over the world,
Hmm.
as the mass increases, it takes time. That's true. Also, the evolution process
Yeah.
will be little bit slow, but
Yeah.
that's not the reason for we to stop. I mean, we have to push, and
True.
we have to
True.
give them.
True. Exactly.
That's what
We
I'm
have
saying.
to find a space on our own. That's
Yeah,
what. Like
yeah.
you have to.
So,
We can create a
so
space on our own, and that is possible. And obviously,
Market
the watching habits have been
always.
changing. Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
also
been evolving.
there will be people who respond to you, because look at
Yeah.
the world's population. I mean, at least some people have to respond to you, right?
Yeah.
There are so many
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
So
so there
and
yeah,
is
of course,
hope.
this OTT platform, that's a huge change.
exactly.
That has, yeah, brought in a huge change, because the watching habits of people have been changing because of this OTT, platforms.
Exactly.
Because people are exposed more to international films and international
Content.
media, international content. So, which is a
Exactly.
good thing. So that will definitely change their perceptions and perspectives. Okay, so this evolution is happening, but we have to give it a space, and we have to give it slowly, and we have to find a space on our own. Okay, maintaining this balance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yes. There is one doubt left for me. Like, are we somehow, because in Kerala we all are somehow engaged in the kind of discussions happening, especially on women in cinema, the gender discourse and everything, and
yeah,
at times we feel that we are still in working, all the discussions are still uh, within this binaries of men and
yeah,
women,
yeah, yeah,
and at times there are like films happening, and um, which are trying to be somehow politically correct, and which doesn't sound to be very organic, but there are very interesting statements out there in the films. So how do you find the change in the mainstream Malayalam cinema in terms of they're trying to be politically correct?
the
Yes.
question is to whom?
You
Shruti,
can
To
you
me?
can take
yes.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
it's just sad that we're still, used to talking in binaries because, you know, uh, there are more than 62 gender types in the world, it seems. We live in a world like that, and we're still talking in binaries, which is the saddest part. Okay. So, starting from there, uh, I think we need to have discourses. We need to have a space where the discourses can happen. And like Uma mentioned about WCC, it's a safe space. It's not just a safe space, it's a great gender movement, okay, in the history. Okay, we have to agree with that. And another thing is, WCC is evolving. It has to evolve. Okay, there will be, changes, constructive changes that we will have to bring about, within the structure. Yeah, like we have to be more inclusive. Like we'll have to look at other genders also, gender types also, like trans people, and even men. Okay, even we can have a support group of men, who support WCC. So, but there should be a space for discourse, and WCC is doing great in that sense. Like it's a safe place and it's a space of discourse. And you all know that we're not just talking about cinema in Women in Cinema Collective. We talk about general issues, gender related issues, right? So it's a political space that way. Okay, and it should grow. It should evolve in a constructive way. It should be more inclusive. That's my, point of view.
Absolutely. And I think just to tell the audience, Women in Cinema Collective uh, consists of both cis women and trans women. And we have a group called Friends of WCC, which is actually people from all genders supporting the cause WCC is putting forward. And also, we are working as groups and clusters, and we are trying to bring down the conventional structure and trying to work in a lateral structure, because our uh, primary question is against power. So we are, as Shruti said, we are attempting to, we are evolving into something, and we are trying to be very conscious of uh, uh, power within us even, and we're trying to be inclusive, and that's the kind of discussions we always have. So I would like to slowly go to wrap up this session, but before that I would like to know what is up there in the future. And right now it's corona, people are stuck in home, and I would like to know the dreams that you all have. I would like to know what is coming up for Uma and Shruti.
Uma first.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
um, Ye- Yeah, in the future, I hope I'm hoping for a workplace that is gender neutral, and yeah, where we have a lot of movies with both male and female protagonists doing unbelievably great stuff, and and people um, ec- people receive them with open hearts. Yeah, that's my hope for the future. Is that what you
Nice
meant,
hope.
Okay.
Archana?
Yeah,
That's
also
nice.
your personal projects I would like to know. Yeah,
Yeah, personal
if
projects
there's something
wise,
coming up.
I can't say right now that this is coming up or that is coming up, but I'm very much interested in long form content as a filmmaker, and as a cinematographer. I would really love to do an action or sci-fi movie. So yeah, if that comes up, I'll take it. Or otherwise, I'm trying to develop a couple of some stories. That's all. I can't say for sure at this moment.
Great. So we're waiting for
Okay.
that. And Shruti,
Uh, yeah, about my future. Yeah, like Uma said, I have the same concept. Like, it should be a gender neutral world, and people should be more receptive to new content, new style of storytelling, new narratives. I hope that happens in the future. We had the discussions about the evolution, the transformation that is happening in the viewing habits and watching habits of people. So, through that, I'm also dreaming of a world which is more receptive to, new contents, new types of films, and new experiments. And about my projects, currently I'm working on a, documentary series. It's for a private organization. So it's about art and culture of Kerala. It just happened. I mean, it was not my deliberate choice, but people come to me and ask me to work on that kind of content since I've been doing that for a long time. So I think it's about the trust they have in me. So I'm working on that. And of course, I had a plan to make a feature film, a mainstream feature film, which got delayed because of certain issues that we had, between the actor and the producer and things like that. So now I'm looking forward for new opportunities to open that project again and to start with that project again. So that's about it.
Like, how do you find like working with women? I mean, you have worked with Uma. I
Yeah.
mean, she was your cinematographer, and how does that? I mean, feel?
It's again sisterhood. Like I'm very much comfortable working with Uma if you ask her, because it's like you won't feel like you're working. It's more than that. It's fun. It's not a workplace thing. You know, it's more than that. You travel a lot. You travel together, and you have food from all those street tattukada shacks and street places, and you know you absolutely you don't have money in your hands and you have to work with meager budgets. So we have to share rooms and bathrooms, and we don't have the luxury of we cannot afford to have five-star accommodation. So we do a lot of crazy stuff that way. Yeah. So it's fun. Working with women is fun, definitely. And of course they understand you better, and there's no ego at all. So hello, can you hear
So,
me?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, Uma, what do you think? How was your experience of working with this director?
Okay, so whatever she said, into to I mean, it is about fun and having fun at the same time having and doing an absolutely amazing work. That's the thing. I mean, I still get praises for the Manu Malayalam promo thing we did. You know that 4 minute video of Manu Master we did. I still get praises for that. So I have worked
Oh,
with Shruti. I have worked with some a couple of female directors, others, in music videos and short films and stuff. And my own movie, Across Ocean, had 50-50 gender balance in the crew. So one thing I realized at that on that set on location is that people really gelled together very well, and it was almost
yeah,
like a college picnic kind of mood,
that's true. It's more like a picnic. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not work. It doesn't look like work. Yeah.
exactly.
So
It
So
looks
yeah,
like at least a real world, right?
that's
exactly, it's a
true.
real
That's true.
world. So
It's a
Yeah.
real world.
whenever I get chance, I always try to tell my male filmmaker friends that try to make your crew 50-50, and it's fun, and you'll thank me for it later.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you're getting your college days back, or it's like you're getting your cousins get together back, or something like that. So you should
Yeah.
try it.
Yeah.
Everybody should try it.
That's true. Yeah,
I
that's
think I
true.
have always felt I think I have always felt it like abnormal to be, in a space, a workspace where, there are a lot of men and there is only one, me or you
Yeah.
or, some other women. So
Yeah.
it's a bit abnormal. And I hope we are able to,
Yeah.
change this abnormality into,
Yeah.
something normal where you have
Yeah.
both, I mean, of course, men, women, I mean, cis women, trans women, and
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
Everyone.
from LGBT
Archana,
community.
actually, I got used to that pattern because, most of the time I get to work with men. Like you said, there
Yeah.
will be only one or two women, within my crew. It's hard to find that balance. I've been trying to do that, like that. I've been trying to include more women into my crew, but that doesn't really happen many a times, especially when you're working for a client. Client will have his or her own choices, so they'll bring in more men, to the crew. So I'm used to it actually. I know how to
So it's
handle my
basically,
ego, and yeah, but the thing is, I really would like to have this balance of men and women, like Uma said, 50% men, 50% women, and maybe other gender types, because we should create an ecosystem like that. Then only this change will happen. I'm sure you all have heard about this, celluloid ceiling. This particular report by a lady from Hollywood. The celluloid ceiling talks about the number of women who work in Hollywood industry, like not just small women. They're talking about big women, like directors, directors, cinematographers, and editors, and major crew, basically major crew members. So the report says, since 1998, only 1% of women have worked with film as major crew members, as major crew. Just 1% since 1998. So where is the change? You can't really see the change happening anywhere in the world. So the change can be brought about, I think, through this inclusiveness and finding this balance between men and women, like including more women crew members, and including more associate directors, and of course cinematographers and main crew members, basically.
so
So
basically,
we should
it's
create an ecosystem like that.
yeah, yeah,
We should
and
attempt for that.
I think it's high time that we should actually,
Yeah, yeah.
get this into practice. Yeah. So WCC is also trying to do things on that. WCC is prompting the government to have certain
Yeah.
regulations, and we have been doing different conferences and discussions, and we have recently released a manual to actually propose the best practices for an industry, an ideal industry. So we expect all our work gets fruitful results. And as Shruti said, yeah, we are in an evolving stage, and we are trying to engage somehow with the system. We are trying to be in the system, and we are trying to have a dialogue with the system. And I hope more films from us are going to be screened, and the people who are watching us live right now are also able to somehow connect with our films. So thanks to Uma, thanks to Shruti, and we missed Leela, Sutta, and Sajida.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I really wanted to hear them talk, but yeah,
yes.
next time.
So,
Yeah.
so thank you, Ma. Thank you, Shruti.
Thank you
Uh,
so much, Archana. And
Thank you.
thanks, Uma. Big hugs
Thanks, Ruby.
to both of
You
you.
too.
so
We had
there was
fun.
full. The discussion was full of hope. I would
Yeah,
say. I mean, that's that's what we have at the end of the day.
yeah. We've all worked together. That's another thing.
We
I've
should.
worked with you, Archana, and
Yes.
I've worked with you, Uma. So, so
So
it's
thank you so
more
much.
like a
Thanks.
reunion kind of
Yeah,
thing
it
for
is the
us.
reunion.
Yeah,
Yes. So hopefully we'll make more films together, and you
yeah.
know, yeah.
We should. We should soon.
We are going to.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys.
So, bye.
Yeah.